Before history was recorded in writing, before the first citadels were built on Vietnamese land, there existed a hazy era where the boundary between humans and gods was unclear. An age of legends where dragons spoke, fairies descended to the mortal world, and children born from eggs carried the blood of sky and sea. Among the stories passed down through thousands of generations, there is one sacred legend, the legend of Lac Long Quan and O Co, the ancestors of the Vietnamese people. They are called the dragon fairy lineage because from the love between a dragon and a fairy, a nation was born, resilient, unyielding, and full of pride. But this love was not just a romantic myth. It marked the beginning of a painful separation, a great sacrifice, and a mission entrusted to their 100 children to build and protect the nation. Today, let us walk through the mist of time, returning to the dawn of heaven and earth, where everything began. This is the legend of the dragon and the fairy, Lac Long Quan and O Co. In the deep southern waters, where sky and sea meet, a god was born, carrying the spirit of earth and sky and the boundless power of the dragon. Lac Long Quan, whose real name was Sung Lam, was the son of Kin Duong Vuong, the first king ruling the land of Lac Viet, and Long Nu, a fairy of the aquatic tribe. The dragon blood from the sea granted him extraordinary abilities. He could walk underwater as easily as on land, command the waves and winds, call great fish ashore, and most importantly, he had a compassionate heart, always caring for the people. When Kin Duong Vuong passed the throne, Lac Long Quan took over as the ruler of the southern land. But this land was not peaceful. It was wild, full of monsters, fierce beasts, and disasters that plagued the people. Seeing this, Lac Long Quan fearlessly fought, using his power to destroy evil creatures like Ho Tin, the nine-tailed fox disguised as a human, Mok Tin, the ancient blood-sucking tree monster, and Ngu Tin, the giant fish demon spreading havoc offshore. Thanks to Lac Long Quan's protection, the people gradually stabilized their lives, learning to farm, hunt, build homes, and worship the gods. They revered him as the holy dragon, Lord, both king and guardian god. But even as a deity, Lac Long Quan carried an emptiness in his heart, a yearning hard to name, to find a soulmate, a kindred spirit in the vast sea and sky. Then fate brought him a woman, a breathtaking fairy from the northern mountains. From here, the dragon fairy story truly began, among the towering northern mountains, where mist covers hidden paths and birdsong echoes in the wind, lived a noble and pure race. Fairies from the north in harmony with heaven and earth. Among them was one with a strange beauty, gentle as a mountain stream, yet carrying the majestic spirit of the deep mountains. Her name was O Co. Uko was a descendant of Tan Nong, the ancient god of agriculture who taught people farming, healing with herbs, and living in harmony with nature. She inherited from her ancestors the ability to make medicine, save lives, neutralize poison, and above all, a kind heart that felt deeply for the suffering of all creatures. She did not live in a palace of jewels, but in the vast green forest, where the fairy realm blended with the human world. There, she often took human form, bringing herbs to villages to heal the sick quietly, without seeking thanks. Legend says that wherever O Co walked, the grass grew greener, springs ran clearer, and children stopped crying, comforted by her gaze. Though living in nature, O Co carried a deep loneliness, a feeling of isolation in the wide world. She vaguely sensed that somewhere, across the distant sea, a soul was searching for her, the missing piece of her destiny. Then one day, fate began to move. When northern demons rose to cause chaos, a god from the south appeared, carrying the power of the sacred dragon and eyes as deep as the sea. The meeting of dragon and fairy came, not only the start of a love story, but a turning point that changed the fate of a people. The universe always finds a way to bring two kindred souls together, even if they come from worlds that seem never to meet. When northern demons brought disaster and suffering to the people, news reached Lac Long Quan, who ruled the south. Without hesitation, he crossed mountains and forests, carrying the power of the sacred dragon, determined to protect the people. On this journey to quell chaos, Lac Long Quan and Oko met, not in a golden palace, but in a valley where streams flowed, birds sang, and sunlight filtered through leaves like the eyes of destiny. From the very first glance, both felt something strange, as if they had known and remembered each other from a distant past. Lac Long Quan saw in Oko purity, kindness, and the light of the mountains. Oko saw in him the vast breadth of the sea and a heart strong yet gentle. They needed no words to understand fate had brought them together. Soon after, they became husband and wife, not with grandeur or trumpet sounds, but witnessed by heaven, earth, clouds, winds, and all living beings. It was a sacred bond. They lived together in the mountains, in pure nature, caring for the people, building a warm and peaceful life. This was not just love between two beings, but love between mountain and sea, between dragon and fairy, between two souls carrying the responsibility to begin a new lineage, the Lac Viet line. The love of dragon and fairy was not only the union of two different beings, but also the Yao, origin of the most sacred legend in the Vietnamese spirit. After a time of happiness, a miracle happened. Oko suddenly felt a change within her body, the spirit of heaven and earth gathering inside her, and then she gave birth to a pouch containing 100 eggs, an event never before seen in the human realm. At first, people were stunned. Children born from eggs? But no one doubted it, for strangely, from that pouch of 100 eggs, 100 strong, beautiful, and intelligent children hatched one by one. They were not ordinary children, but carried the blood of dragon and fairy, powerful as the ocean waves, brilliant as the stars in the forest. Lac Long Quan and Oko were overjoyed. Their 100 children were the essence of heaven and earth, the spirit of mountains and rivers united, the future of the Lac Viet lineage. They raised their children with all their love, teaching them manners, hunting, farming, caring for the people, and respecting their ancestors. Under the roof of the dragon and fairy, the 100 children grew up close to nature, learning to understand the heavens and earth, living in harmony with all creatures, without distinction of age or gender. Yet, as they grew, Lac Long Quan felt more clearly a calling. His watery dragon nature urged him to return to the deep sea. Meanwhile, Oko, a fairy bound to the mountains and forests, could not live away from grass, trees, and streams. Though deeply in love, they belonged to two different worlds. Then came a tearful decision. The fateful separation was near, not because love had ended, but because they had to choose what was right for a whole people with a great mission. Some loves part not from lack of affection, but to preserve something higher, the future of a lineage. Lac Long Quan was the dragon of the sea, born of the water tribe, his soul belonging to the salty deep waves. Ao Ko was a fairy of the mountains, born of the earth, raised with the mountain winds, unable to leave the high peaks. Though their hearts were heavy, their different natures became an unbridgeable distance. Knowing they could not share one life's journey, Lac Long Quan and Ao Ko sat together beneath the bright moon and made a painful decision: to divide their children. I will take 50 children to the sea. She will keep 50 children to the mountains. Though apart, our blood remains one. The dragon fairy lineage will never be separated. The parting was without tears, only silent looks full of love and responsibility. The 100 children, bearing sacred blood, were split into two groups, one following their mother to the mountains, the other following their father to the sea. Each took a different path, beginning the journey to explore the four corners of the world. People since then called them Bach Viet, 100 lineages but from one root. That story became the origin of the Vietnamese nation. No crown was passed down, no throne was given, only a sacred mission: to build the country, to protect it, continuing the Lac Hong legend with their own lives. To this day, when speaking of their ancestors, Vietnamese people proudly say, "Children of the dragon, grandchildren of the fairy, a call from the bloodline, from the root, from that noble separation. Time flows like an unceasing river. But the blood of the dragon and fairy, the sacred blood, still flows fiercely in the hearts of millions of Vietnamese. From the 50 children who went to the mountains and the 50 who went to the sea, they cultivated the land, founded villages, built tribes, and expanded the territory. Whether in dense forests or deep blue seas, these descendants always remember their sacred root. They are children of Laklongkwan and Oko. No force can separate this lineage, for they are bound not only by blood but by an indomitable spirit, love of homeland, and the desire to rise amid the storms of history. Whenever foreign invaders come, the descendants of the dragon and fairy rise again, like eternal flames, never bowing. The legend of the 100 eggs, of a separation, without hatred, became a symbol of unity, where 100 people may differ in region, language, and customs, but share one heart, one motherland, Vietnam. Thousands of years later, the descendants of the dragon and fairy have created countless wonders, from endless rice fields to heroic tales echoing in history, and in every beat of the Vietnamese heart, pride resounds. We are descendants of the dragon and fairy. No matter how far we go, we remember our homeland. No matter the hardships, we hold firm the spirit of Lak Hong. Do you hear it? Amid the mountain winds and ocean waves, the legendary story of the dragon and fairy still echoes. They did not only give birth to a people, but also passed on a soul, immortal, proud, and held high. Remember, we are the ones continuing that legend.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. If you found the video helpful and interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Wishing you a wonderful day, and see you in the next video.